Hello everybody and welcome to Wise Warrior's Path. Some of you have been following my YouTube channels for many years now, like over half a decade. There has been some of you who have just been loyal and have shared so much insight, so much valuable information, have shared their personalities, just who they are. And in my time here on YouTube, I have come to know a lot of wonderful people. It opened me up to an international platform that before I just didn't understand existed. I didn't know how to communicate with people around the world. I didn't know of other people, of other cultures, of other opinions. And as I've been on YouTube, I've been meeting people just of all types, all backgrounds. And when you actually look at them together, when you actually talk to them, when you actually translate their languages, or they're translating to you in their language, they're making that effort, you're making that effort, you're seeing that people are essentially the same. People want to be friendly, and they want you to be friendly back to them. They want to share ideas, they want you to share ideas with them back. They just want to live life. And that's one thing that's really cool about YouTube, and also things like Facebook. Certain websites out there also where you get to connect with people internationally, talk to them, chat. Social media has been very good for that. But a lot of you who follow my channel understand that I've had a lot of complaints about social media, about media in general, about what we see on TV, what we get educated with in school. Whether it is from being a child going to school for the very first time to an adult just finishing up the last of the school they'll do in their lives before they begin to do their career or whatever they want to do. There is like a form of indoctrination there telling us that we're supposed to be a certain way, that this is how we're supposed to treat people, that this is how we're supposed to take in information, that this is how we're supposed to really like live our lives, and this is how we're supposed to interact with society. And in many ways, that's like a positive thing, that our system, our educational system, or just our country in general, can be aware of how citizens should be, of how they should treat each other, of how they should see things. And having the ability to reach people through our education, through our media, through everything, that's a positive thing. But a lot of you also understand that in the same way that we can do all these positive things and share, all these platforms of information, social media, what we're educated with, how we're educated with it, can also be used against us, where vital information can be taken away from us to where we are left in the dark. We don't understand really what is happening. And people can't be naive to the fact that that's how political systems have been since the very beginning. Ultimately, they begin with this idea that they're helping the people in that area. And you're going to see that all political systems end up actually trying to subject the people of that area. It tries to subject them through taxes, through certain kind of programs, through military, through trade, through everything. And also at the same time, that's how humans are. We need a power structure. We need a structure where we got disciplines, educations, the ability to defend ourselves, the ability to have a system that kind of watches how that area is being managed, how that area is being protected, if that area is properly working and properly functioning. But you see, the same way that we have all those elements, we also have that naturally as societies. No matter what kind of power structure we have, no matter what kind of thing we have, that's kind of what I'm saying, that everybody is almost the same. Like, people try to find a way, they try to find a power structure, they form leadership, people take on the challenge. And you're going to see that the weakest people, the people who you thought were like feeble-minded, they couldn't make decisions for themselves, will start making decisions for themselves when there's no one there to protect them, when there's no one there to guide them. And in that same way, once again, is how we can get bad things guiding us also. That inexperience can lead to certain things. So what I'm trying to tell you is that the way that humans learn, that the way that humans communicate, the way that humans, interact with things and work with those things and in a way where they're going to make society function is very complicated. There's a balance there. And humans are very tolerant to having that balance pushed. And humans are able to recover from that. And all ways humans are able to recover from that. But what's happening in today's world is that those same people who manage us and do everything that I just told you, what we do in general as society, the good and bad, is becoming very technical, very refined, to a point where we ourselves individually don't understand really what's happening. Things are becoming so complicated that they have to be now managed by a group of people who have skills and talents that a lot of us will never obtain. Or at least that's how those people have set up their environment, or the people before them have set up that environment for the people that are coming and the people who were back then, to where they're making us dependent on these systems. They're taking away our normality on purpose, where science is like basically being used to figure us out in ways that are not positive, but in ways that are getting under our skin, literally, in the sense that we are being taken out of our skin. We are being placed in a different environment. We are being placed in a different mindset that is not our own. Basically, we are being enslaved. You look at the tax. You look at the countries that are right here in North America alone. You look at the United States and people understand how bad politics is there, the kind of things that they teach on the media, you know, the kind of stuff that we're subjected to here in North America. And then you look at places like Canada, where it's like the landmass is like the size of Russia almost. It can be compared to that landmass and the emptiness of it, the population, the lack of population. And to think that in parts of Canada, this is anywhere in Canada where you want to live in relative comfort, peace, where you have a good location, good markets, just a location that's civilized. Nowadays, in places like, let's just say, Toronto or British Columbia and other parts, it's just spreading all over Canada. It doesn't matter where you go. Wherever you see a Walmart, wherever you see something, you know what I'm saying, that's connected to the mainstream, it's becoming so expensive to the point where people can't afford it. They can't afford to eat. They can't afford to pay their rent. All they can afford to do is just survive. It's just make that money. And then they got a little bit to spend. So in those cold seasons, they get to watch, let's just say, a movie that they want to watch, or eat a certain kind of food that they want to eat. Go camping when the good seasons come. But that's basically all Canadians are doing. They're not really getting a chance to enjoy their wealth, to live their lives. They're being subjected to the worst stuff that the United States actually is being subjected to. The worst subjection that you see right now in Europe, the worst politics, the worst censorship of speech, the worst federal system right now is being born in Canada, right under the noses of Canadians. And they believe that they are free. They believe that somehow that this is normal, that it's good for them. Like you think that it's normal selling a house in Canada for $1 million. Okay, you'll say, okay, I'm the one who owns the house. I'm the one selling that house. Hey, my family's been living here for a lot of years. I deserve it. Our property's worth $1 million now. But guess what? The next property that you're going to buy is going to be worth $1 million. You see how it works? Inflation in Canada is at the point where people can't afford the minimum wage, or whatever you call it. It's not going up. It's going up here, it's going up there, but people are being starved in the process. And people in Canada in particular are like, they don't realize it, but they're being starved out of like normality. They're being enslaved to a system where they're working 9 to 5, and it's not like even normal. Like, they don't got options like they would in a country that has the same landmass, that has the abilities to become so much greater. Basically, people in Canada are not spreading. They're being almost subjected to those areas that are so expensive, and they can't live outside of it. They can't even have more than one kid without it looking like the States. Talking about the tax, talking about this, how you're going to teach your kid, what your kid's supposed to accept. The LGBT movement in Canada is the worst, to the point where, like, it's not just consensual adults. Like, they're passing laws where, like, people can, like, hurt their animals sexually. It's just wild. That's just one example. That's Canada alone. And Canada has such a small population that, literally, compare this. The landmass is comparable to Russia in many ways, especially with the way the population is. Just our ability, we got so much. here in North America, especially in places like Canada, even the United States. Latin America has so much, and I'm going to get to that in a sec, because our systems actually invest in bringing down places like Latin America. We purposely invest in destroying people's country in order to get that immigration to come to our countries. And then what's happening is that our systems are using that as an excuse to call us racist, blame them, put the finger on them, say that the drugs are coming from them, but our same systems are sponsoring those drugs. They're creating a lot of those scenarios. They're funding terrorism. That's what they're using our tax for. And then our media is basically telling us that everything's okay, that anyone who talks about this nowadays is being hateful, it's like they got some sort of problem, some sort of homophobia, they must be racist, they must be a Nazi, that they're intolerant, that they're negative people, that they're out to be like this. They're even branding people who take awareness serious terrorists. Look at the Patriot Act in the United States. Look that up for yourself. Look what they can do to the people in the name of supposedly hunting down terrorism. You know what I'm saying? That the same terrorism that these people are creating in the Middle East. Like, look at the Middle East, for Christ's sakes, as another place that like, it's like the main place that you can look at right now, where our investments are also making those people flood other countries, come to our countries, and that same social engineering is being applied with those people, with their migrations, calling us racist. And if we're not racist, among them are terrorists. So you see, we're terrorists, the migrants are terrorists, we're bad people, the migrants are bad people. You see what's happening is that we are being controlled through the means of being manipulated, of being lied to, of being basically, manipulated. You know, like where you tell someone something and it's not true. You're telling them that this is what it's for, but that's not what it's for. And it's happening to all populations that are being affected by these systems. And unfortunately, our systems are right now those systems. It's not Germany, it's not Russia, it's our systems right now. And it's been our systems for a long time. If you begin to actually study history for what it is, you're going to see in reality what communism was. Like, you're going to in reality see how our systems have actually funded the spread of communism. They funded the spread of fascism. And in reality, our systems almost instigated the wars in Europe so that we can get the result that we got today, to control nations, to topple governmental systems that oppose our governmental systems. But the thing is that our governmental systems are not like these great governmental systems. They're governmental systems that want to basically control the world, control free speech, control money, everything. Like, our systems are the ones who are pushing to take away the money system altogether and turn it into a credit system where we're using credit cards. And look at all these social programs that they got now. Or all this stuff where you can't be racist, or you're being racist, you're being intolerant, you're being homophobe. The carbon tax. Look at geoengineering. How many of you know what chemtrails are? You guys got to know that chemtrails are not anything to do with global warming. Okay, global warming and our weather really is kind of messed up. There is a lot of stuff that is not going well with our weather. But how many of you know that that's actually being caused by our systems? That the drought is actually being caused on purpose scientifically. Storms are being influenced. Weather is being influenced. And it can be influenced to do good, but it can also be influenced to actually be a weapon. To hurt people, to starve people, to cause drought on certain areas. And geoengineering, in reality, those chemtrails or whatever you want to call it, they're not condensation trails. They're not anything of that nature. These things are in reality poisonous. They're like the majority of it's like aluminum and certain acids and particles. And yes, it is raining down on our environment, and it's being spread constantly. I see this stuff being spread at night, being spread in the morning, being spread when sundown. You know, these things are being sprayed all the time. They're saying that it's for blotting out the sun or for doing something against global warming. But how is that doing something against global warming and saving our planet if in reality that stuff that those particles are falling out on are getting poisoned, are getting hurt? Like, when you begin to study that, you're going to see that it's a touchy subject. It's something that the government doesn't really want to admit, yet at the same time they're trying to admit. They don't really know what to tell the people. They can't decide whether they want to tell the people that it's for weather modification. They're not sure yet. But part of it is weather modification, and the other part is basically like crop dusting what's below. Also, genetically modified food. Genetically modified food, think about it. If a little bug can't eat something that you have planted, what makes you think you're going to be able to eat it? If a species of animal, a bug, that has been eating that, or what you call a pest, you know what I'm saying? Something that literally like cost you money, oh, it's bad. You got to literally get out there and you got to make sure that thing that's eating your crop is not eating your crop. You got to take extra precautions. Precautions that we've been taking since the beginning as human civilization doing agriculture. So we're able to do it. We're able to get rid of pestilence. We're able to do it also in a way where it works for us. We're able to work with what we have, essentially. That's what I'm trying to say. And genetically modified food is poisonous. There is no other way of saying it. Genetically modified food causes cancer. Look at the kind of foods that you eat. Look at the pop, the Pepsi, the Coke. Like, this stuff has things that will kill the good microbes in your stomach. They will kill basically what you need in order to properly digest food. The chlorine in your water will cause scars in your intestine that will eventually lead to cancer. And yes, we do need clean water, but there's so much other ways of doing it than just what we got right now. Fluoride. For some reason, they like to put that in the water, and they're saying that it's good for your teeth. Now they're determining that it's not good for your teeth, that it's actually really bad for your health, yet they still want it in there. And then people are saying, hey, you know, when you study this stuff, when you actually begin to see how it's actually reacting with the body, this is causing mental retardation. This stuff is poisonous. This stuff is highly toxic. Why are you putting that in the water? Oh, and then there's other people that say that not only is this toxic, but it makes people kind of docile. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are not thinking clearly, but they're still able to think, you know, and clearly enough. It's just, they're not able to, like, really, like, you know what I'm saying, be 100% as individuals in the mind. And you got entire populations, entire areas in the States, and who knows where else, Canada, who knows where else, where they're drinking this stuff. And they're getting like a form of mental retardation, and they don't even realize it. And the people who do realize it, they're branded paranoid, they're branded this, but they got clear facts. And that's what I'm kind of meant by our media and how it's kind of twisting things around. It's looking at people who are in reality generally more than concerned for their community, but in reality are trying to do proper for it, and they're censoring them. Basically, in Canada is a big example of this. Like, the government's almost like, if the people aren't doing good through the means of the government, the people are not doing good at all. Meaning, if the people are doing something in their community, they're selling hot dogs, or they're doing this, the government's going to come in there and it's going to stop them. If people are going, let's just say, going to use that beautiful land in Canada, and they don't want to live under that tax system anymore, and let's just say life is too hard, it's almost to the point where they can't do that. You can't go out now and go live in the wilderness without you being weird or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're a risk to the public or something because you want to be independent. You see, that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of stuff that they're trying to install in our minds. And a lot of people who have come to these countries, who are immigrants, have fled these kind of things in particular. And have fled situations and things that are caused by the very systems that they're fleeing to. Vietnam, all over Asia, all over Latin America, people are flowing down here. And that's what I meant about our countries. We don't do this on purpose. Me and you don't do this on purpose. We are obviously not the problem here. We're just the people trying to figure it out and paying the tax and giving our children to the army and all this stuff and having to deal with this. Having to defend this. We have to defend this as populations here because these are our countries. We have to defend our countries. We have to defend our image. We don't want that image. But that's what's happening. Our systems are taking our resources, are using our populations, and they're hurting other populations. And those populations are fleeing those things that they're getting hurt by and coming here and having to now swallow this culture. Having to now accept all these agendas. Oh, LGBT, we want your kid to be gay. It's just like, when I talk about LGBT, I'm not trying to be prejudiced against people or their happiness. And I am a Christian. I don't agree with this stuff. But I am not being aggressive here when I say that LGBT is promoting pedophilia. And it's very clear that it is. LGBT is more than just people wanting to be gay. It's like it's something that is telling our communities that it is okay to be transsexual, that it is okay to be basically transhuman. Like, if you want to identify by whatever, you can. If you want to make up whatever sexuality you are, you can. And when you do that, that's now going to become a gender. And when you actually look at that, when it comes to transhuman, the idea of transhumanism, they're also going to be introducing maybe robots to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a joke. Like, just weird, far-fetched stuff that you'll see is weird and far-fetched, but it's actually what they're aiming for. Like, what's happening today is more than just weird. It makes sense when you actually look at it for the people who are trying to control things. But for us, it doesn't make sense. Like, we don't understand why would they want to introduce robots, like, as people. Well, think about it. Slavery, free labor, the ability not to have people in the way of other people's success. And when I say that, I'm saying that we as populations basically are a threat to the people who actually rule our countries, who are actually investing in all these negative wars, investing in all these bad social programs. Because behind it all, there is people that are setting all this up. It's not just society. This is not just evolution. No, there is a specific group of people, and these people are in occult societies. They are in basically cults. They're in societies that are branched off regular society. And these people invest in politics, invest in medicine, invest in the education systems. These people hold a lot of power. In fact, it's families like these, it's systems like these that hold the main power in our planet. And it makes sense that they do that. That's why us as populations, we are a risk to them. And when you look at tyranny, when you look at all political systems, that's eventually what it becomes. It turns into like a secret society that has a conspiracy against the rest of society, where a private consensus wants to dominate the public consensus, and wants the public consensus to do everything that the private consensus wants it to do, and it wants it to do it by consenting to it, by saying yes. You know what I'm saying? You won't know what I'm saying unless you actually begin to study history for yourself. It's common sense. It's human behavior. The Bible is trying to tell us this. Psychology basically tells us this. It all comes down to how humans react, how humans behave. And that's where we are primitive in many senses. That's where we are truly learning still. But what I'm saying is that it's now gone to a level that we as people have to be aware of, and actually we are the solution for it. We have to be the reset button. And I don't know how this is going to start, but we as communities are going to have to go back to the pen and paper. We're going to have to go back to burning our eyes in the books, to researching stuff. And we got to research this stuff and write down the information where it's not being stored online, but it's being stored in books, being stored in DVDs. And it has to now be shared door to door. The information of what's happening today, the ambition of how our politics is, what it's doing, how we're invading people, what's the result of it, what fluoride has been doing to people when it's been put in the water, how chlorine in reality reacts with the stomach, and it's in all water basically, how our education system is, what geoengineering truly is, what genetically modified food truly is, what Israel is today. And I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't got any problems with people who are calling themselves Jewish. But right now, the people who are behind Israel and setting up Israel and doing everything that they're doing with Israel and as well as the Middle East. Like, I don't know if you guys, whether you guys are religious or not, study evil. And evil is a negative thing. Whether it's coming from a religious point of view or not, evil is negative. And that's what Israel is. It's the most vile thing. It's created off the most vile thing. A lot of our wars, a lot of what we've been seeing, a lot of that stuff that we're experiencing at home has to do with that Israel. Has to do with that sort of Judaism that we're seeing today. You know what I'm saying? Believe that there is radical elements in more than just one religion. And Judaism is one of the most radical systems to exist on this planet, at least what it has become. It's become something satanic, something dark, something vile, something scary. And that is what's behind right now Israel. And when you look at it at its core, It doesn't even respect what Judaism originally was. This is something different. And the Bible also talks about that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we as human beings have been warning ourselves about this for a very long time. How human behavior can get. How ambition can get. Just how people can hurt other people. Because they want something from them. Because they want a certain comfort in their life. They're willing to put society under the bus. They're willing to hurt animals. They're willing to hurt our environment. They're willing to hurt everything. And they're willing to manipulate us to turn against the best of our society. Like, let's just say I'm talking to you right now. I'm warning you. And they want to convince you that I'm bad for you. That I'm in reality trying to tell you something that's negative. When in reality, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to give you a helping hand. And that's one of the main reasons right now why we can't trust any more of these things like YouTube. And it's at the point now where YouTube has actually openly said that these videos, they're going to start to censor them. My channel has been censored. 2 channels have been shut down because I speak about these things. That's a very serious thing. Those are very serious implications that something is wrong. But now, because people are very weary about YouTube, Facebook, and all that stuff, they're like, what the hell is going on? They're just shutting us down. Now, what they're doing is that they're censoring us, where you're not going to be able to get interactions on your videos, you're not going to be able to get likes, you're not going to be able to share, you're not going to be able to send your link to a friend. Basically, they're going to make you silent because you question them. YouTube, Google, Facebook is all run by the same people. And these people right now are putting a stop on our free speech, our ability to share, the ability for me to simply be able to tell you this information. And they want to replace me talking to you, and instead they want to put LGBT TV. Instead they want to put, pro-Israel TV. Instead they want to put pro-invading Latin America TV. You know what I'm saying? Their conspiracy TV. Their theories. What they want you to learn. What they want you to see. Basically, they're turning YouTube into a TV platform. Facebook is turning into a part of your ID. To where it's mandatory that you have Facebook. It's mandatory that you register your ID through Facebook. And also, Facebook is openly admitted that the CIA or whatever it is, companies watch your information, that Facebook sells your information, your metadata. That's what Google does. It steals your information. It watches you. You know what I'm saying? It taps into your system. It's giving the ability for your local police departments to sit there and listen into you simply because your neighbor made a complaint about you. They're using the excuses of terrorist acts to make surveillance on everyone. It's not normal. That's what I'm saying. It's beyond, the reasons are not normal anymore. And that's one of the reasons why they're censoring our speech. Because they're trying to take us out of our normality to the point where they're going to be changing ABC to CBA. You know what I'm saying? And the meaning is just absolute backwards. Where they control the narrative. Because when they start also taking the money away, they're going to start charging you for everything in that new system. You're not going to be able to hide with dollars, coins, and bills. It's going to be taken out of you automatically. That's what happens when they take away the money system. That's why places like Canada are seeing that inflation, because they're going to eventually take away their money system. And they're going to put it through cards. And then for the first 10 years, it's going to look great. But you know how their system is. Oh, wow, look, we discovered oil. Oh, wow, fuel prices go down for like 6 months. And then they skyrocket back double after that. You see what I'm saying? It's tricking people. Like, we are being hurt in the most awful and clear ways. We are being literally starved. And our media, our social media, the way it's designed, it's making it successful for the people who rob us to continue to do it. We're almost accepting all these things. Like, we hear them talk about them wanting to impose a new tax, and it's just like, you look at the news. It's like a parody of our lives. It's like a parody of what's happening. You see those people, it's just like, they're conditioning you to accept everything. Look at the news alone. Like, those people are got a very inhuman approach to it. Like, they turn people off from wanting to even see the information. Like, these reporters, these people are jokes. And these people are feeling offended because people like us want to share the information instead. Because we want to look at these things and analyze them for ourselves. You see, that's the problem right now that these people have right now with things like social media being free. Is the ability to people to look at the stories for themselves and think and say, whoa, that does not make sense. Because we are realizing that we are being lied to, we are being manipulated, we are being basically starved out, killed. So the social engineering is to the point where, like, literally we're accepting our own deaths. Our medical system is basically death panels. Our policing system is basically like a branch of tyranny now. Our intelligence system is terrorism. It's the truth. Our systems are becoming the worst on this planet. And our populations are held hostage. Because we have to almost accept this. Be here. Be the faces. Be the children that are dressed up, in little suit and sent off to the school they want to send us off to. We are their prize, populations that they also manipulate and abuse and treat bad. And we are made to look so terrible around the world. People think that we are literally Babylon. And guess what? Look at the United States. You look at the core of their military, their symbolism, and it is Babylonian. Literally. The occult society in the United States, you look at their dollar bill, all that stuff, it's not conspiracy theory. It's right there. These people have, their cult society is Babylonian. Babylonian with a mixture of Jewish and satanic at the core. You see it through their symbolism. Look at their Medal of Honor. Congressional Medal of Honor. It's a bloody upside down star with a little rising phoenix on the top, on the top, almost making it look like a 6-point star. And then you see that little 6-point star symbolism all over their media, all over their other stuff. And it becomes very clear, wow, these people are not even Christian. That whole God we trust is something else. Basically, like, the populations of the United States, and especially with the English system, have been serving something else. And what's happening is that our populations are now being looked at as racist, bad. Our countries could be the next Hitler because of Donald Trump, or like we're like the next Germany. You know what I'm saying? People are making communist riots on our street, where you got like little kids and stuff wearing red and like communist symbolism and talking about how great communism is and how bad fascists are. We're not fascists. You know what I'm saying? We don't prosecute people. We don't put people in concentration camps. Maybe our government did to Native Americans, to African American people, putting us against each other in wars that were absolutely stupid because they're trying to take control. And part of taking control is making us fight against each other. Creating sides that don't need to be created so that they can kill each other. Creating fake revolutions, fake systems. Entire fake countries. Like, you think that we have a cultures here in North America? We don't have cultures. Our cultures is what the media tells us our culture is. What we're supposed to love, what we're supposed to like. They're even telling us that we can't even worship God in the way we want to. That Jesus Christ is this and that. But yet they want to erect little satanic statues, little LGBT, their little inceptions of transhumanism and how that's good. You see, I'm a Christian, yes. But in studying all this, I've taken a very, I guess, new world approach to it. Or let's just say I see things in the way that people who are atheists want to see them. I try to look at them through what you would call common sense, logic, or, just a normal, rational way of looking at them. And religiously, yes, I am offended. I don't like LGBT and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to accept it. I don't have to accept it. No one can force me to accept it. Yet our systems are forcing us to accept it. But that's not why I am aware. I was aware way before anything you can judge me on. Like, I'm just a human being. And yes, religiously, I am aware, this and that. I do read the Bible. I do pay attention to things. But just as a person in general, rather I'm religious, rather I'm Hindu, rather I'm atheist, rather I'm Muslim, rather I'm satanic, rather I'm Jewish, I'm paying attention is basically what I'm trying to tell you. And these conclusions that I've gotten to are not just conclusions. These are like, this is fact. This is fact that anybody who has eyes can see. You see, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a politician here. I'm not a police officer. I'm not a trained professional for this, even though I have become very good at public speaking and sharing my point of view. But I am just like you. I'm a citizen. I'm a person. So, a lot of you who follow me on this channel can't even see my videos. They're being censored. They've been censored for a long time. YouTube is now just coming out saying that, oh, they're going to be doing what I just said in the beginning, that they're going to be making it hard for people to share. And I'm telling you, it's blatant now. It's open. It's like straight up, like, this is like communist censorship. Straight up, no joke. And for my channel, it's been happening for a long time. And I went from making videos on insects, animals, our wildlife, our environment, interviewing people, interviewing local things in my area, my city, to being a person who went into all politics, to giving up my ability in my young life to make something of myself, to become very wealthy through sharing with my videos. My channels now altogether would probably have over 500,000 subscribers. But I have been shut down over and over and over, to the point now where this channel now only has like 250 subscribers, and that goes up and down. Because people look at it and they're like, oh, that guy's not popular, like, you know, he has like 30 views. No, my videos are being censored. And it's been done for a long time. And I went from making videos on that, what's happening in today's world, to now I don't really make videos on that channel anymore. But I'm not giving up. I have been doing martial arts. I have been doing other things just for me, for my life, been sharing, trying to influence people in a way that's not just politics all the time, because it didn't make me angry studying everything. It made me disgusted to the point where I had to walk away from this. But I can't walk away from this. Because unfortunately, even though I got my own problems in life, I got my own setbacks, I'm not the most responsible person on the planet. But I'm responsible enough to understand that our people are in danger, essentially. And I can't walk away from that. I have no choice but to focus on that stuff. Share with the people that I know. And it's literally consumed my life, where half the interactions that I have on the street now are talking about these things. Where I'm talking to my neighbors, I'm talking to my family, I'm talking to my friends, I'm talking to random strangers, everywhere. And the more I do that, the more I realize that I'm right. That this is important. I speak to people, and people want to hear about what's happening. People want to hear what you have to share. People, in fact, have things that they want to share. They got opinions on these things. And a lot of people feel like they're being censored. And it's true, they are being censored. It's hard for people to communicate these things because the media is telling them so many things. Conspiracy theory, fake news, who's who, who's what, terrorism. It's scaring people. And a lot of the people who are getting scared the most are the people who have escaped these things, who have escaped wars. Just stupid reasons that have caused their countries to fight and do stupid things that made their lives bad. And that's why they had to flee. And those people try to avoid these situations and things, and our government understands that. But also those people that are coming here and are trying to avoid it can't avoid it either. Because they're seeing how it's following them, those problems. They're trying to discover that, wow, those problems weren't created by us. It's not that just our people or government is stupid. We have migrated to the system that is causing these problems. Like, I joined the military here and I'm realizing, wow, I'm being recruited so I can kill my own people and help bring them to this country in order for the army to recruit more. So essentially those people who want to ignore this, and the government is using them because they know that they're wanting to stay away from this. In reality, it's actually not working for the government, because these people understand that what they have been abused by. And that's almost another strategy that our systems are using. They know that the people that are coming here are weary of us. And that's causing us to separate, to fragment, to fight each other. So in a way, like, our defenses are being used against us. It's like judo. Our momentum, our awareness gets manipulated to the point where we don't know how to think. Basically giving you a little bit of a breakdown of the strategies that are used with the media and how it's actually working, how the result is coming about. And yes, it's very bloody serious that we are very vulnerable right now. Our ability to be aware of things is at its lowest. So, looking at how YouTube and Facebook are now fully blatantly censoring everything, it is time for all of you to use that pen and paper and begin to write down all these things. Geoengineering, what it is. Genetically modified food, what it is. Israel, what it is. What's happening in the Middle East. What the whole situation behind that is. Look at the video games that are right now being shown in the series Narcos, talking about Latin America and the narcotics. Note that down and understand that we may be possibly encouraged to invade Latin America in the future, to go to war with our neighbors. Note that drugs in these countries, I know that a lot of people, it's very difficult to say this, but I'm going to come out and say this. If your family's involved in the drug trade and the drug business, turn away from it, because it is being used obviously against you guys. You guys know this, but don't benefit off it. Don't look at that oasis of treasures off blood money, because you're killing your own people. You're destroying your own children, your own families. You are taking away the safety net that you have as human beings away from yourself, and you are creating a plague for your own family, to where you're going to have to look behind your shoulder for the rest of your life. You're going to have to separate yourself from the rest of society because you continuously hurt it. But people are beginning to blame you. Your own children are beginning to blame you. Get out of it and begin to, in reality, work against it. Drugs and everything are being brought in by our own systems. And a lot of these families who are involved in this understand that fully. The drugs are being brought in by our own systems, are being encouraged by our own systems, while our systems are pretending to fight them. The war on drugs was a farce. The war on terror is a farce. We are the ones that, not us, me and you, but our governmental systems are the ones behind the drug trade, behind the worst tyrannies that we're seeing right now exist on our planet. They fund tyranny in order to get populations messed up, in order to get invasions going, in order to make those countries lose their rights to their own resources, such as diamonds, such as oil, such as agriculture, valuable land, valuable water, just what makes the country the country. And then you're going to say, why would they do that? Well, why wouldn't they do that? It's control. That's how wars are fought nowadays. It's how wars have always been fought. But that's what I'm saying, is that humans and their bad nature has not changed. What has changed is how we apply that now. We're getting better at it. And it's not just us, it's certain populations. And they're starting to, that's what I mean by a cult society. They're trying to branch off the rest of society. Keep knowledge secret. Cures for diseases. Oh, geez. You know, I can't even be overwhelmed anymore when I say this. It's so obvious. Because when you begin to see it, you can't stop seeing it. But the mission of a lot of these people, these systems, are to make you not see it. Our spirituality, what our world is in reality, is being hidden away from us. There's more to our world than just what science is and our media is telling us. Spirituality, everything, things that we can't see, just to kind of get into a little bit of that stuff. Because a lot of people right now who are in these countries and listen to this video will say, yeah, I understand that, but when you talk about the spiritual stuff, I don't understand it. But once again, you have to understand that you're not the only one that lives in these countries. And there's people that are Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, they translate these things. They understand what I mean by the spiritual world, by hidden knowledge, by things that a lot of people don't understand, but they're there if you have eyes to see them. You know, and this, I feel so frustrated and so sad, embarrassed and disgusted that the little bit of intellectualness that I have, the little bit of intellect that I have, the ability to share, the ability to be aware, the ability to think outside the box, this is how I have to think. This is how I see things. This is how I am using the little bit that I have of knowledge. Is so that I can get a headache. But that's the fact. That's the reality of it. We are in danger. We are not living in the golden times here. No one has. What goes around comes around. This whole karma thing. You know, when you feel rich here at home and you're living in ignorance, you're eating all this food, becoming obese. These are the basic things the Bible tries to tell you. You know, you're being greedy, you're hurting other people. Where do you think all that's coming from? It's coming from someone else's back. From the environment that you're living in. You're taking away from other things that are supposed to feed themselves. Other people that are supposed to feed themselves. You're making your world great while stepping on the world of others. And unfortunately, that's how our planet has been. We got this natural balance to where you have to be strong to survive. We know the science behind that. We know what the Bible says about that. But once again, the way that we're doing it today is so unnecessary. To where it doesn't make sense. It's not normal. It's not a proper balance. It's not a proper functioning thing. To where instead of me right now thinking about all this stuff, oh, spirituality and this and that, oh, wow, what we can do with our brains. Instead, it's a headache. The more aware I become, the more aware I become of current situations, the more afraid I become. And it's like there's a point where that fear, I don't know what to do, I'm concerned, I don't know why other people don't understand. But eventually you learn to overcome that fear. And you begin to almost understand a little bit more of why people can't understand, why people can't see. And you're no longer this person who's like a conspiracy theorist, a person who's not right. No, you become a person now who's aware on a different level. But the thing is that other people are not going to understand you now. But it doesn't mean that you have to stay alone like that. You got a gift, the ability to make other people understand, the ability to show them your way, the ability to lead them into a different way of thinking. But anyways, before this video becomes very long, so the conclusion of my video is that we're going to have to start going door to door again, making our community matter, getting together as a family and talking about current events, getting around the big table and talking about the things that a lot of us may not like to talk about, but I'm sure that a lot more of us have a lot to say, want to talk about something, want to fix things. And you're going to see that when you begin to sit down as families, as communities, and you begin to talk, you begin to communicate, that it's going to be so much better than not communicating. You're going to find it comfortable understanding. It's going to be much more better. More people are going to begin to awake. And you're going to see that your society is going to get better. It's going to improve. And those things that scared you before, you didn't understand them, you were afraid of them, you learn how to deal with them. Not ignore them, but actually deal with them. Because often what's hurting you needs you to not be aware of it. And these people who hurt our society still need to operate in secret. They still can't be too obvious about it. But part of telling us that it's happening is a strategy to making us accept it. But it's also a risk. They are not strong enough yet. But they're getting strong if we are not aware. And that's also why the Bible tells us to be aware. That's almost why the Bible is giving us these lessons since the very beginning. Don't treat others like this. You know what I'm saying? Spread this information. Share this information. Because it's one of our most basic foundations. Telling us what our world really is. What really is the purpose of mankind. It's going to show that, yeah, we live in a world that we can truly make horrible and messed up. Or we can make it work. we can make our mission work. We can work with the best that we can. And the things that are evil, that are negative, that are trying to bring us down, we're able to keep them at bay. To where if we really die and screw up and mess up and completely get destroyed, it's because we did things that weren't right. We messed up. Or it's just what happened. Even in destruction, a human can have peace. Even understanding that that human is alone, they're gonna starve, that they've reached the end of the road, they're lost. They can at least understand what the purpose of their life has been. And I'm telling you that whether you're religious or not, Christian or not, your community matters. And that's basically what Christianity, what God, or whatever you call the Bible, has tried to reach the most, is community. It's trying to remind you not to forget that your free will can have consequences, and it also has responsibilities. But as long as you learn how to respect those and work with those, your life is going to be amazing. You know, like, common sense is more valuable than you think. And I'm telling you right now that what's happening is not normal, and we can sense it. We are sensing it. Every time they tell us a story that does not really match with common sense, we question it, and that's the right thing to do. We cannot depend anymore on this media, and we got to begin to take our communities back from what is happening. We got no choice. We have to be on the alert. Yes, these things are our enemy. Yes, these things are out to destroy us. And yes, as communities, it is up to us to turn it back. We are the ones that essentially run our army, or our political systems. We are the ones supplying the manpower for that. And before this continues to get out of hand to the point where literally it's not going to be manpower, it's going to be robot power, we as humans that have the power still here have to begin to push back against these negative and tyrannical systems. We have to reset things manually ourselves. So this may be one of the last videos that I make politically until things get fixed on YouTube or whatever happens. Who knows? I mean, YouTube may not exist in the next 5 years. Our countries may go to war. But in the meantime, this is the last I can do for this political stuff. I'm still going to try to share, but when it comes to YouTube, this is the last of my political stuff. Now, the best thing that I can do is continue to go door to door. Is continue to talk to people, face to face, tell them what's happening. Make the effort to write things down for them, copy them, and share them. Keep them away from social media. I don't need this going on social media anymore. I need this now going to the people that I want to reach. And if I have to do it in my region, it's going to happen, and we're going to start doing it door to door, family to family. It's time to bring awareness for what it is and use it. Because what's happening right now with our systems is not getting better. They're at the point where they're censoring our speech openly. Once a country starts doing that, you know that absolute tyranny and horror is going to follow. And I, for one, would rather go down standing up, fighting with a positive voice, than be allowed to be put under these people's games any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our time now to save our countries. We are the people that matter in these countries truly. We are the ones who make these countries truly what they are. And the way that we are going to begin to push back is by beginning to push for that awareness now. And we're going to have to do it directly through communities and with our families. That's the end of this video. I apologize to you guys if I mixed up any of my words, if my grammar wasn't the best. I don't script any of these things, but I make the effort to talk about them. I put my own life, my own safety, my own reputation on the line. I've put basically my ability to have so much wonder, so much treasure here on YouTube, so that I can focus 100% on my community. Basically what I'm telling you is that I did not give up on my community. I chose to be true, and I'm paying for it right now. Also, as a Christian, a Jesus Christ loving Christian, I am paying for it right now like you wouldn't believe. And so are my brothers and sisters. We are not bad people here. We are the people that have made the West what it is. And not for the negative, but for the good. Thank you guys once again for watching my video. Subscribe to this channel if there's anything left of this channel. And this video in particular, I would like you to note down the information here and begin to talk to your family. Begin to study things for yourself. And eventually, no matter how much they take away normality here, we will have the normality. And they will be the ones that look insane. And we can begin to finally flush this system down the toilet that is not only hurting our people, but destroying this planet. Also, God bless you all. In the name of Jesus Christ, God bless you all. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. And they're trying to brand us terrorists also for having this mindset. And if that's what I gotta be branded, because I am peacefully like a normal person being a normal person, well, so be it. I will die like that. I will die a Christian, a proud Christian. And these people will be exposed for what they are. They already are exposed for what they are. That's why they are censoring your speech right now. Because they don't want you to be aware of it either.